of oranges has seen a sudden increase in the number of educational institutions as well in the last few years in particular. So there is an AIMS, a triple IT and an IIM in Nagpur. I am right here at the beautiful and sprawling campus of IIM Nagpur with a group of students who are the present batch of students of IIM Nagpur. So let's talk about the issues that will decide your vote, because these are young Maharashtrians and also someone who's from Karnataka. So he'll try and give his own perspective of what he thinks is going right in the state vis-a-vis his own state of Karnataka. So let's start. What are the issues that will decide the vote of youth like yours?
So, ma'am, the first issue that I think will decide the votes of youth is employment. So, I come from the area of Vidarbha, from the region of Vidarbha. And usually, if you complete your engineering from Vidarbha, the first thing that you have to do is travel to Western Maharashtra in Pune or Mumbai for jobs. So, creating a job atmosphere here will be a key issue that I think will be prominent in this elections.
What about you?
Ma'am, I also think on the same lines, like the migration issue that is over there, the urbanization, because majority of the jobs that are available are there in the region of Western Maharashtra. I come from the farmer background, farmer family background, so farmers' suicide rates and all those issues are some of the bigger aspects of the Vidarbha region.
But in Vidarbha, hasn't the overall farmer suicides come down? The concerns of the farmers are being addressed?
Yes, ma'am. Somewhere the efforts have been taken by the governments, by the various governments over the period of time.
50% of the Maharashtrian population is working in agriculture domain or the areas around it. Also, most of the farmers here, based on the Maharashtra geography, it's like they are more based on the rainfall, how the monsoon season goes. So, if we look at that perspective, there has been many initiatives taken. Also, there has been improvement
irrigation front.
irrigation front and also on the crop management systems. So there has been a scope of improvement also, and the areas of development where Maharashtrian government is also working.
How optimistic are you about your own future?
Okay, so as an MBA graduate, I have many of us dream of starting a startup and entrepreneur. Maharashtra has the most number of startups in India, the highest number of startups, and as a Gen Z, I would like that Maharashtra government should leverage this fact of the highest number of startups that a state has, and also Maharashtra government should also focus on women education. There have been schemes recently that have been focusing on providing freebies to women. Yeah. So instead of that, the government should focus on the long-term growth of a woman and should focus on women education.
Okay, that's actually very well put. You're from Karnataka.
Yes,
And as someone who's studying in Maharashtra, you know, there are students here and they have very interesting viewpoint, particularly to do with migration. Would you also consider yourself as a migrant who has traveled from Karnataka to Maharashtra for education?
Well, of course, if I go by the textbook definition of migration, I believe I am a migrant. But if I may add, since I come from a state that has a lot of startups, a lot of wonderful higher education institutions, Maharashtra is a place which I believe is no less, because it contributing 1/5 of India's GDP, and as long as I'm having opportunities, I don't have any issues being a migrant.
So is this the language of the youth of Maharashtra? Or are you guys exception because of where you are studying?
The main issue is not caste. It is just about the job, and everyone has their own responsibilities that they have to provide. So I think that is the main focus that the youth is upon.
So you would have gone through the guarantees of various political parties and the two alliances, Mahayuti and Mahavikas Aghadi. What is it, do you think, in there for the youth? And what do you think which are the two sides, and who is more promising and more convincing?
I'll not say who is more promising or convincing, but I see a lot of skill development initiatives that the government that will be formed in Maharashtra has to start. So as my friends mentioned here, that a lot of emphasis has to be paid on entrepreneurship. So what I feel the focus should be on local entrepreneurship.
And as far as the women are concerned, young girls like you, aspirations, yes. What about the issue of safety security?
I am from Nagpur, and of course, my parents are really concerned about me when it comes to safety and security. And when it comes to Maharashtra, I think there is a need for improvement.
Among the leaders, who do you think is there on the horizon of Maharashtra who appears to be aligned with your thoughts?
I would say instead of focusing on a leader, I feel the parties, all the parties, if we look at the past history of and the past election itself, a lot of time is spent on things which are not actually the focus of the youth. I would say, for example, during the last election, a lot of time was spent on forming the majority itself, and that is a very key time that is lost, in which other states will take up the majority of the investment. For example, there were certain semiconductor projects also, which is like a new upcoming industry for India, which India is targeting, and Maharashtra lost those key projects because the governments were focused on other things basically. So I feel that as we have the election now, the government should, any government which comes to power should immediately start working on things and not waste any time, because we are living in a age where decision making should be quick and there is no room for delayed decisions. Otherwise, the whole world is behind you and they will overtake you in an instant.
So that's actually very well put, that the government should hit the ground running, and all the political uncertainty that we have seen in this state in the last 5 years in particular, when one government was formed, then it was toppled, then another government was formed, that should be done away with. You're looking for stability. Do you think that's important?
Yes, as a voter also, and if we look from the perspective of foreign direct investments, FDIs, they also look at these factors, whether the government is stable or not, whether the decision making, the incentives which they are providing would be in their favor or not. So these are some of the key factors, but I think it is a collective decision rather than a single individual's decision, because if we focus more on the decision making part, then we would be lost on the implementation.
It is not just about stability, it's about government coming up with innovative ideas to ensure that the FDI is, first of all, it attracts FDI and then is able to retain that.
Yes, sir. Like he mentioned, stability is, I still believe stability is the topmost priority. Say, talking in basic terms, even for us after our education, since there's a lot of competition out there, we look for stability.
So let's try and wrap up this conversation. What is future for you?
The future for me is looking towards a good job, a good political, stable government that we can rely up to.
Ma'am, the future for me is just not doing something for my country or my state, but also my hometown. So I want to do something that will add value to my own city also, is what I look forward
So
to.
you're vocal for local.
You can say.
All right, thank you so much.